My mother and I went to a car dealership. It's my first time for me. She went to the closest one, the one she wanted to go to, a Jeep car dealership. And lo and behold, it was the guy who sold my parents their first vehicle when they immigrated to Canada. And yeah, I always wondered what kind of character I would encounter in a car salesman. They have a bad reputation for being really ingenuine and manipulative. So it was my first time, and I was kind of excited to witness what firsthand how I was gonna be dealt with by a car salesman, how today's car salesmen are, if they maintain their reputation, bad reputation. It's said that they are the most dishonest persons in the world. I'm not sure which would be worse in people's eye, a lawyer or a car salesman. I figure a car salesman. He's completely unhinged, willing to say whatever. And let's admit they got all the cards in their hands. They're able to tell you anything you want, and just as long as they sell you a car, and if you really are in their you're in their influence, and you can't really do anything about it. They got all the information. There's a big imbalance in information, and since they will act like they have insider information, and you have no evidence whether they're lying or they're not. You have no evidence to prove either way. So it was my first time seeing a car salesman, and the guy put a really good show. He acted like a big shot, and he had all the features of a big shot. He was a Palestinian guy, but you wouldn't tell a Muslim Palestinian guy, but he was he was all that, had the voice and the skills, verbal skills, the charisma of a salesman. He was laid back, real laid back. He knew it was all in his hands, but we just went along with it. I was just mainly acting as a passive observer. I didn't want to get into an argument with a car salesman, and so we went there, and the first guy to meet us was this guy who sold my parents their first car in Canada, or vehicle. And within a minute, while we were walking into the dealership, he asked us if we speak Arabic, and then it was revealed it was that guy, and my mother recognized him. So after entering, at the beginning, my mother had an idea which vehicle she wanted. It was the Jeep Renegade, and he told us, he confided us it was a bad idea buying it. Well, they didn't have it in supply at that car dealership. So I wondered if he's trying to lead us somewhere where he is capable of selling us something. So I'm not sure if he was honest or not. So he told us it was built on a old Fiat body, and it was giving the company big problems. And it was giving customers big problems, so he turned us off immediately about that car, and we have no idea if he's honest or not. It's not like you can say put pause, then go search the internet if he's telling the truth or not. We kept going, and my mother wanted a particular style of vehicle, and that's the only one she had in mind, and nothing really inside suited her need, but she found something close to what she liked at the back, and he started giving prices at 32,000, 38, and there was one my mother liked a lot at the real back, a 2016 model, and he gave her a 42,000 price. He told her that one is really something, but he could supply it to her. And so we sat down to discuss. I was expecting him to show us more, but immediately they get you to sit down for some reason. Right from looking at the car directly to the office desk. I would have said, they would have you look at the car, lust over it, see the features, get an attachment to it, but no. Immediately they take you to the desk, and they start filling up papers like you're gonna buy a car right there and then. And he started discussing personal matters, his relationship with his wife, that he's divorced, and how women are unsuitable for marriage these days. Most women, they're not they don't have the capacity or the mentality for marriage anymore. And discussing between town girls and country girls and city girls, and he was boasting how he put his foot down on his ex-wife, and he made a statement which I thought was fascinating. He said he told his wife, with him it's 01234 think he was trying to teach me a life lesson there. So I guess his wife went to 4 and then went to 0 immediately. He was a hard man. Yeah, I think it was all BS, show off, to tell you the truth. And yeah, he said that he didn't allow her to split his assets. He threatened her with lawyers and did things behind her back, so she wouldn't get much, and he has children with her. Yeah, he showed off a lot, and he also said he did not gift her a car when she wanted one, but instead made her pay for it. Definitely all BS. The way he was acting, I said classic car salesperson. If inside I was telling myself, does he realize how foolish he is being by revealing that his wife, he couldn't handle him? If his own family he would treat so harshly, so coldly. If he could do that with his own family, how can strangers, go over his head? So it just his pride, proved that his pride proved that he's over his logicality. He put his pride over what's sensible, and he kind of lost with us in that way. He didn't see that it was negatively showing towards his character, and we just went along with him. And my mother, she really didn't like any styles there. They were all too big. She wanted a Jeep, but the styles, nothing was acceptable to her aesthetically wise. She only cared about the looks of the vehicle. She didn't care anything about anything inside, but they were all too big, and so she's complained about the prices he was throwing around, and she told him my brother wanted to come and see the vehicles because someone he knows, his wife works there, and she can give him a deal. And she told him she wants to consider it, go back, think about what she can afford, and come back later. She said definitely bold, plain lie. Funny thing is, while they're talking, they mentioned, my mother mentioned to her she doesn't like doing business with Arabs, and he said he doesn't like doing business with Arabs too. He throws them to other customers, thinking thinking she was Armenian, not Arab, because our bakery's name starts with Armenian, and but then she revealed that she's not actually Armenian, but she's Lebanese, and he kind of got red-faced then, but it was all BS anyways. It was all back and forth play, so nothing was taken seriously, and nothing personally. But as we were heading out, we saw those great jeeps, those military style looking jeeps, silver colored ones, and my mother really wanted one of those, but he said it's out of her price tag at $50,000, starting at $50,000. But he tried to convince her it's possible with financing, and he told my mother while sitting at the desk, the company doesn't really like full payments. They like to finance their cars. They like purchasers to pay monthly, because that's how he said they make money, by financing, with financing. Point blank, he said this. And my mother, I don't know why, she said, that's what you want to do, finance it. She wants, for some reason, she thought it was a good idea to give them extra money, to give the company extra money, just for the heck of it. She asked him if how was business, and there's a saying in Arabic, it's honey on onion, meaning sometimes it's honey, sometimes it's onion, but there's an undertone of onion all the time. That's the way it is with all businesses, I suppose, and that's something I can say he said honestly. That's one thing I would say he was honest about. Well, anyways, my mother assured him we will be back for sure, and bold-faced lie, and she didn't care one bit. We walked out the door, and as we were walking, she seen a Jeep, an old model of Jeep that she really liked, parking in the parking lot. And I told her, let's go back and tell him to find you one of them, but she insisted she didn't want to see him again. And we kept going. As we drove down the street that car dealership is on, I was reminded of a Kia dealership, and in the direction we were going, I remember walking past it at times, and looking at the cars in fascination. Kia has really interesting looking cars, and I kind of wished we had one of those cars. They got cool style. The Kia has cool style. So So I stared at those cars quite a bit when that car dealership first opened. So I tried to convince my mother to go there. We went past it, turned. She wanted to go to Toyota, but she thought it was gonna be too expensive, which was always close by. The Toyota dealership was close by to the Kia. So, but eventually we made it back to the Kia, where I convinced her to go. Having in mind the look of the Kia, and thinking she will definitely like the modern edginess of this. I thinking this is the type of vehicle she is imagining to own, and lo and behold, I was correct. The second vehicle we saw in the car dealership was the one she wanted, and the floor person informed us a bit, led us a bit. She told us about the price, $23,500. It was a medium range vehicle. It's medium cost, and it was a perfect price. Korean company. My mother had a Hyundai before. That was her car at the time, and it served her well for 10 years. And got into a few accidents, but it's kept running solidly with practically no major problems. So, we want to go to a Hyundai shop, but we thought, she didn't find any styles over there that she liked, but I figured maybe Kia would provide one she wants before we check the Hyundai dealership more closely, and we went and she found the car she wanted. Kind of Jeep looking, not exactly a Jeep. I think they called it a wagon. It's as high as a minivan, but it's square at the back, the style she wants. And this is she was hooked right there and then, and the price was right, $23,500. Quite cheap. So we went there. We were there, and the lady asked us if we speak Arabic, and we told her and then she got to the salesman, who I thought was Jewish when we came in, and passed him. He looked like Jewish. I thought he had one of those caps on his head. I forgot the name. And but I don't know why they think Iranians speak Arabic for some reason. Well, she brought him and she told us he pretended like he could speak Arabic, but of course he couldn't. He's Iranian. Some words I'm told they can understand. And we were stuck with that salesman. And like the other salesman, he immediately took us to the desk and started filling up paperwork right there. within a minute. We discussed the price, the options. There was a higher end version. We asked for if how much more it would cost to get leather seats, and it was an outrageous difference of $3,500. So for the higher model with leather seats, it would have cost $3,500 more, and that was ridiculous to me and my mother. So she chose that. She chose the model we were looking at, and which has fabric seats. Not very comfortable, I must tell you. I'm sitting in the car, mind you. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, this is the car. It's Kia Soul EX. It's got all the features inside. Everything, you can expect. It's got heated seats, rear view camera, that key, wireless key, and automatic temperature control, practically everything. This has and on the inside the same features as my father's $50,000 GM van. So it gets everything. So, and should open. There's a button, maybe. It's lights up there. Control. Oh, there it is. Here, there's this box here. Nice. It's very stylish. Very stylish. The only thing lacking here is the seats. They're not very comfortable. It's well designed. So we sit down. We didn't, again, we weren't like considering the deal closed right there and then. We were just discussing the possibility of buying it. We didn't have our mind set on buying the vehicle, but we thought that's his thought process as well. But immediately he started filling out papers, and he assured us they weren't for buying the vehicle. There were just information was taken down, and he took my mother's information, my mother's license, her insurance, and all that. It was ridiculous, I thought, but whatever. And he goes back and checks. I don't know. We spent a lot of time waiting. A lot of time. He came. He would come. First, he offered me a candy. Those little round candies, Korean candies, some kind of weird fruit flavor. they got there, kind of like a sour lemon, and melon, not lemon. And he gave us a candy, and he told us to help ourselves. We took it, and he was gone. He would go for half an hour, come back, talk with us a bit, maybe say a few words to us. We exchange a few words and go back and come back, go back and come back for about 3 hours. It was outrageous. And the price we agreed to, we were notified there will be extra charges, something called PPP. I forgot what this stands for. Yeah, something about shipping and yeah, that fee, brokerage fees and things like that. Yeah, which was $1,700, and then there's the tax, and then there's documentation fee. I guess that's the guy's commission. Yeah, so eventually, we discussed among ourselves what the final price must be, and my mother wanted to pay no more than $25,000. Yeah, the car, he said, actually was $21,500. So we were basing our calculation on that base price, and when he came back with the final price, yeah, in my head I would have accepted something like 27,000. He wants a few hundred for commission. Fine, nothing to get mad, get in a fight about, make a big deal about. Maybe something you can overlook, something small you can overlook. But so he came back with a price I thought was pretty crazy, like almost 30,000. So it went from 21,500 to 30,000, and he added like spray, rust-proof spray at the bottom, claiming that it would have cost $800 at a shop, which I don't believe. Definitely ridiculous. And all those extra charges, documentation fees and shipment fees and all that. But I told her, that's it. We're not gonna accept that price. He said, to give him an offer, and my mother did. I did actually. I said that 27,000. That's it. That's the final offer, and he accepted. He hesitated a bit. He talked with my mother. He accepted, and they were discussing the the stuff inside, what it would include and everything. And then my mother, I don't know, she, for some reason, it went over her head that he accepted a $27,000 price for the car. She doesn't speak English well, and she told him if he can give her a better price. I thought that she was talking about better than 27,000, but then she said maybe 28,000, and I almost pulled my hair out in frustration. I couldn't believe she didn't understand the situation. She didn't have a grasp of the situation, and she gave him a free hand in the price. Now we're back to square one. My mother put us back to square one, and I was outraged, but I couldn't do anything. My mother, what can you do? You're stuck. So we're back into square one, and he was back into the, I want to have to see what I can do modes, and back into the mode of setting a new price based on the original price, accepting a new price from the 29,000. And I want to go. I was telling her we should try Hyundai, try going to Hyundai, but she was adamant. She was captivated by the car. She was starstruck. Yes, that's it. It was set in her mind. That's what she wanted, and nothing was gonna hold her away from the car. And I know where she's stuck in mentally, but I didn't know how to take her out of that state she was in. I tried being firm, telling her we shouldn't accept anything more than 26,500. I did the calculation on the phone using the simple calculator, and I was outraged. The price would have been 2,600, 400, some 2,000, 26,400 something, and it was they were charging us almost $4,000 more. I got that mold in me that I'm not gonna take it mode. We're gonna stand firm, and we're not gonna get ripped off. I felt the car salesman was trying to rip us off, playing the car salesman role on us, and I wasn't gonna have it. But he comes back. My mother was set on getting the car, and I was trying to get her not to take it, not to take getting. I was trying to get my mother not to tolerate being taken advantage of, being played however they wanted to play her. I don't know. I feel the times have changed. People are more aware. It's not gonna be simple blind transaction, blind trust in others. Things have become methodological, and I kind of saw an obsolescence in the car salesman, or the car salesman ability to manipulate the price. Everyone has the know-how, the technology to right there and then find the information they need to discover whether a price is genuine or inflated. So and the car salesman, he has no power. He's powerless, and the cards are really all in your hand until you sign on the dotted line. That's the way I was looking at it. And there's more than enough car dealerships to go around and find one that will treat you really good, treat you with respect. So I was kind of I was kind of confident. I was confident, talking with confidence, and I felt assured we're gonna walk out with our heads high. That's the way it was gonna be, and I was in control, and everything was gonna be right, where we weren't gonna feel like how you feel when you get ripped off. Feel like you lost really big, like your people have taken away your respect, your dignity. So I was confident, we're gonna do the right thing and walk out. And I was trying to convince her, my mother, that was the right thing to do. But she said if he was gonna offer 28, she would take the car. And I was trying to tell her, you don't go from 1,500 to 28,000. It's ridiculous. And whether she wanted it or not, I was gonna reject. I was gonna intervene and kill any possibility of a deal at that price, 28,000. So we were sitting there, and they were just the guy just looked narrowly only at my mother, never once turning his head, never once swerving his head toward me. And I was there blabbing my mouth out, saying, hey, this and that, we're gonna leave, we're gonna go to your competition, Hyundai, we're gonna walk out of here, and no, thank you. I was telling him, no, all the time, we're gonna leave, and it was like they were in a air chamber where they couldn't hear me, and they were discussing among themselves. It's quite comical what an agreement between them, and I was like, no way, no, and they completely, both of them tuned me out, and it was quite surprising to me. I got everything I said was taken under no consideration. I guess he knew it was ultimately my mother's decision, and smartly ignored me, and so did my mother, and I was just there blabbing my mouth out while they were making a deal. And she goes to the line, and I was telling, no way, no, don't do it, but she didn't listen to me, and I was, I thought we had agreed before we made at the beginning, and a few times in between, I requested that we test drive the vehicle, and before we make before we solidly commit to buying, but it never happened. He never gave us the chance to test drive the vehicle before signing, and I thought that was outrageous. It was very important to test drive the vehicle, but my mother signed anyway, and so we were stuck test driving the vehicle after she purchased it. Unfortunately, so she got him to drive us to test drive it by driving us to the bank to get the check for the vehicle, to pay for the vehicle. And one thing I forgot to mention was that there was supposed to be a discount, 1,500 discount, and because she was paying in one lump sum, but because my mother accepted, she didn't get any discount whatsoever, and I complained loudly about this, but nothing was taken into consideration. He just looked at me blankly, and we went on to test drive the vehicle, going to the bank to get the check as my mother requested, and he was gonna help her get the check. So he drove, and boy, well, when we were going out of the car dealership in the car my mother bought, boy, did I have my head down. I was hoping it was just something, an anomaly, but it was not. I have to say, the suspension on this vehicle, I don't know, it leaves a lot to be desired. It's a shaky ride, uh, and everything inside is great. It got everything you want, you can possibly wish for, but other than that, there's that's just the suspension. It's a rocky ride in it, and if we had tested it beforehand, definitely I wouldn't have allowed it to be purchased due to this fact. So we try to mitigate it by having these car seat cushions, and mats that are spongy. But that's the only downer of this vehicle. Other than that, it's a great. Has a great look, great fuel efficiency. It's comfortable, heats well. Speakers are nice. Everything it has the works, but just the suspension is not as advanced as other brands, higher quality brands. But I guess it's acceptable for the price my mother paid. Her other car, which was cheaper, had better suspension for sure. Definitely test drive a vehicle before buying it. So we get there, we purchase. We make the. While we're going there, he tells me in 4 years. Kia will be Honda. I don't know what he meant, but coming back, I asked him what did he mean. He told me that Kia will. He meant that Kia will surpass Honda. I think he meant in sales. And after that, my mother went. He wasn't very friendly. I mean, he wasn't a very talkative person. He was a bit of a plain, bland person. You have to nudge him to tell you anything, to talk with you. He didn't volunteer any information. But he told me 4-wheel drives use up more fuel than 2-wheel drives like this one. 2-wheel drive with traction control, he said. And that's the useful information. But after that, we left. My mother went to take her insurance name out of my father's name, and I went to the store. She forgot about me. It was right beside the car dealership where she was going, so I took off somewhere and she went to change her insurance. From all half of the day, we didn't have any food. I went to ate something at a place, but she came back home, forgot about me. I didn't care. I was still at the store browsing around. And then she came pick me up. the next day, my mother gave her old car to my sister, and she went and got the new the car she just bought, and he told my mother it was his first purchase at the car dealership. It was his first sale. He was there he just joined the team there 2 days before, and yeah, he felt she brought him a lot of luck. He said he liked me and he wanted me to come along. He wanted me to have come along with her. He wanted me to see me. Appreciated. Why not mention something like that? Raise your esteem a bit, self-esteem a bit, reputation. I thank the guy. Yeah, so it was apparently a first time for many of us. We've taken it out to a ride. It's just the bumpiness that's a downer for me in this car. It's high up the ground, and it stands out everywhere. It's like an European car that a bit transformed a bit. That's a mutant of an European car. It's nice. This is the Kia Soul EX. That's the first time I go to a car dealership, and the first time I participate in the purchase of a vehicle, if you can call it that. Okay, thanks for watching.